Hey, thank you for watching my channel. I am the Divine Maverick, also known as the mother of twins, helping you along this twin flame journey. I hope you all had a very happy, restful, merry, abundant Christmas if you celebrate. And also I hope you're looking forward to the time change, meaning ending of one thing and the beginning of another. I love time, even though it's an illusion. It's still nice to know where you are in your journey, right? So happy New Year coming up for us as well. Anyway, this is a reading for your awakening as a divine feminine healing messages / soul growth kind of reading. But if this is your first time watching, thank you so much for being here. I realize that you could be anywhere in the world, but you chose to spend a little time with me and watching this video, sharing a little space and energy with me. So I appreciate you for being here. If you like the content, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, as well as subscribe to the channel, because it'll put your energy in the card decks that I use. And the next time you watch a video, it'll feel like your personal reading, because your storyline ends up in these cards in some sort of way. Okay, it will resonate. Something will, is what I'm saying, because once you subscribe and like, then that joins you. Okay, that's how energy works. It's an energy exchange. You give me energy, I give you energy back. Anyway, patrons on Patreon, thank you so much for being patient and riding with a sister. 2021, get ready, it's going to be lit, because everything that I do when I share on YouTube, I am going to be unpacking it on Patreon, because Patreon allows me to control the audience, if you will. I'll see who's in the room. I'm holding up air quotes, y'all can't see that, but I can see who's in the room. You know, YouTube is kind of like everybody can watch, which is a great thing. But when you're talking about esoteric principles and concepts and practices and rituals and things like that, and matters of, these kind of matters when it comes to ascension, you do want to make sure you know who's in the room, because everybody can't handle everything in every state, you know what I mean? So anyway, thank you so much, patrons on Patreon. Also, Tribe on YouTube. Y'all, thank you for holding me down with the comments, holding each other down in the comment section, loving on each other. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for just giving me your energy. I cannot do this without you guys. I won't even try. Now, what's now becoming a theme or a thing on this channel that I'm seeing, that I'm noticing, and I'm going to go with it, because I have learned that obedience is the best way. Resistance is futile. Obedience opens the blessing. So I'm just going to follow my team divine, follow spirits leading and nudging and guiding, in that when these amazing divine feminines, when you amazing divine feminines or divine masculines, I love everybody. Remember, I'm a mother of twins. But when you write me, it's and it moves me to tears or takes my breath away. It's like the first thing I want to do is share it to help somebody else, because I love the fact that you guys, I'll keep saying you, but we support each other. I love that. I love that. So anyway, this beautiful, beautiful, amazing divine feminine who is knee deep, waist deep, shoulder deep in her journey, sent me a journal entry from Christmas, from her, obviously her journal. And I mean, the thing took my breath away. I was reading it between clients yesterday, and I wasn't ready. I'm just gonna tell you, I wasn't ready. But it was so beautifully written, so amazing. So I want to share that with you, and then I want to teach and preach just a little bit. If you saw the video from a couple of days ago about the only way out is through, or something like that, but it was your awakening healing message as well. But that was the title, something like the only way out is through. I don't go back and watch the videos. I just upload them and I move on to the next message. So I'm sorry if I messed that title up. Maybe I will, you know what, for the first time, maybe I will link it down below, if I remember. Isn't that funny, right? I will link the video down below. Anyway, this card, when I was sitting to meditate to see what card I was going to have to go through this, I know I wanted the Divine Feminine Oracle, because that's what I was seeing as I was meditating on the message, right? Look what came out. Ariadne is her name. She's the mistress of the labyrinth, which is like a maze. Some of y'all have seen that pattern before. Look behind her head. It looks like a halo at first glance, but if you look, it's a labyrinth behind her. And if y'all know, there's little games that come with that have a little silver ball, and you just kind of move it around like that. You know what I mean? And then it'll go to all the grooves and eventually find its way, I'm going to say home. You know what I mean? If you think about it like that. I'm also noticing the lightning that strikes, which makes me think of sudden changes or sudden moves or sudden bright ideas. Because interestingly, this labyrinth is encircling her head or her crown, if you will. It almost looks like a bit of a halo or some sort of head dress, right? You know what I'm saying? So it lets me know that even the ones, this is why I have to do this video, because sometimes we get up in our heads in the 3D. Our soul knows the way. Our soul knows how to do this. Our soul is leading us. But that 3D will hem us up or trip us up. And we get caught in our heads a lot. And we become very analytical, or those triggers like the paranoia, the suspicion, the unbelief, the disbelief, the fear, the insecurity, the abandonment, the rejection, you name it, the rage that comes, the feelings of inadequacy, all those things come, and then the power comes. You know what I mean? So you have this hodgepodge, this mix of fear and fire. That hit me. Fear and fire. Like fear that you want to be paralyzed and stuck like this. I can't go on any further because I may get hurt. My heart may explode. My heart may break. I may be disappointed. But then that courage, that lioness in you begins to say, no, keep going. You know what I mean? You have a new idea and think of another way. That's what the lightning is making me think about. All that. Also, my attention was drawn to, and as I read her story, I think you're going to really be inspired by Ariadne. But Ariadne, I'm sorry. But anyway, this string around her wrist, it made me immediately think of the red cord, or the it's like a Japanese, if it's not Japanese, forgive me, but it is like a fable saying about you and your person. There is like this invisible red cord, or this cord that ties you together. No matter where you are on the earth, you're always tied by your wrist, by this cord. And that's what it made me think of. And I would be curious to know if that's kind of where this originated in the Greek or the Roman mythology or something, or history books. And then it just kind of got adopted in different cultures and everything, because every culture has its thing, you know what I mean? And but at the end of the day, they all have very similar or universal themes. So with that, let me read you her story. Her mantra is, "My soul knows the way, and the only way out is through." Again, when I saw this title, I was like, because I had not seen this card before. This is a new deck. And if you don't have the Divine Feminine Oracle deck, you need to get it. But Megan Matterson, I'm sorry. But anyway, if you, when I read her mantra, I was like, oh my gosh, because like I said, 2 days ago, we had this as a title, and that title just kind of dropped right out of heaven on me. Anyway, let me put her back down and let you look at her while I read her story. Thank you for your patience. And then after that, I'm going to read the email from this beautiful Divine Feminine and say a couple of words after that. Pack it up, pack it up, patch it up, treat you a little bit. That's my teaching or preaching. To put it together, treach. And then we're going to be done. So thank you so much for your patience. And I pray that you receive the message, because we're here so you can be inspired, be encouraged, be illuminated, be uplifted, be educated, and also be great. You know what I mean? All right. So Ariadne is the mistress of the labyrinth. My soul knows the way, and the only way out is through. Who she is. Ariadne represents the love and support available to us when we dare to be courageous. Ariadne is known as being both a Greek goddess and the human daughter of Minos, king of Crete. Her father put her in charge of the labyrinth, where 7 human sacrifices were made every 7 years to appease the Minotaur who lived within it. The Minotaur had the head of a bull and the body of a man. He preyed on those who got lost in the dark. One year, a valiant and heroic man named Theseus went into the labyrinth to slay the Minotaur and end the sacrifices. Ariadne fell madly in love with him and gave him a sword to kill the Minotaur and a ball of red thread so that he could find his way back out of the labyrinth and into the light. Ancient Greek myths were oral, so there are varying accounts of Theseus and Ariadne eloping after his success, or others where Ariadne's consort, Dionysus, the Greek god of ritual madness and religious ecstasy, chases after her and pleads with her to return to him. Whichever way the story ends, the constant is that Ariadne's love and support changed the fate of so many who would have otherwise been lost to the labyrinth. Few things in the story before I continue. when I read about the red string that Theseus tied around his wrist so that he could find his way back out of the labyrinth and into the light, the first thing I thought about was the priest that went to make sacrifices in the Old Testament, the priest that made sacrifices to God in the temple. Everybody couldn't go into the secret or sacred space, and so they made sure they tied bells around their waist to make sure that as long as the people could hear those bells moving, that means that the priest was still alive, because going in there with sin on you or any infraction resulted in death. So that was and once a year this happened to make the animal sacrifices to God, right? I was gonna say Allah, but maybe I should, you know what I mean? But yeah, that definitely came out Allah. But anyway, it made me, that's the first thing I saw, and it was like interesting. Like I said, see how the different cultures have kind of the same story, sort of, kind of the same story. Anyway, that's why you have to study to show yourself approved. Anyway, she was the goddess of this labyrinth. She was in charge of it. And then, like I said, there was a man that stood up. They called him valiant and heroic, Theseus, and he went to finally kill the demon, if you will, the Minotaur that had the head of a bull and the body of a man, because he preyed on those who got lost in the dark, which a lot of our masculines are somewhat still, they're coming into the light, but they're still lost in the dark. Some of us made connections when they were very much in their shadow energy. You know why? Because you were on your shadow energy or in your shadow side as well. So that's how that happens. We mirror each other. You look at yourself. If you cannot still see yourself or some of your ways or your similarities in your divine masculine, the person you consider to be your divine counterpart, then I would say there's a little ways to go, because if you feel that they're separate from you, then there's a little more growth and a little more ascension to be had, because that simply means that the mind, this labyrinth, needs to help you find the way out of the darkness, and including the masculine needs to find their way out of the darkness on their own individual soul's journey, but it actually coincides with yours with the mirroring, and then ends in results in union, which is you healing enough to love yourself like you should, like you know you deserve to be loved, because you now have found unconditional love through being connected to spirit, making healthier choices, breaking away from things that no longer serve you, breaking away from things that hurt you, leaving people behind that never understood or celebrated you, just tolerated you, making better decisions about where you want to work, how you want to spend your life, what goals and vision you have for your family and your future. These are the kind of things that lead you to union within, and then it results in union without, meaning the 3D person, the divine masculine or divine feminine counterpart. All right. So that stuck out to me, as well as how the story ends. One account has Theseus and Ariadne eloping, and then another story has like her lover or her boyfriend, the Greek god of ritual madness. Interestingly, that it says ritual madness and religious ecstasy. Very interesting, which lets me know that this other man, Dionysus, was a man of faith or spirituality. He just was out of balance, either out of balance or didn't understand truly what true spirituality is. That is another mirroring to our divine masculine archetype, if you will. Most of the journey is him surrendering, or us. Now remember, this is us too, but surrendering to the divine and saying, not my way, but your way, not my will, but your will be done. You know what I mean? And so if they have to fight you while they're trying to fight it, the Minotaur, I'm holding up air quotes that y'all can't see, but the so-called Minotaur, the one that requires a sacrifice, because remember, every 7 years there were 7 people or humans that had to be sacrificed to this Minotaur, because they were lost in the dark. The Minotaur, which looks a lot like fear, the people that are lost in the dark are not able to see the light, which is what starts the fear. If you can't see your way out or see your way through, of course you become afraid of the future. You become sometimes rejecting or ashamed of your past. It's a lot of things, a lot of things that end up with this mix, right? But anyway, I can't believe I'm 14 minutes in and I'm still talking with the card, but that's that region. So anyway, here's what happens when she's out here for a reason before I read this email. Ariadne is a symbol of the hope the divine assistance and the step-by-step process we can take that moves us from a difficult time, or it helps us confront an injustice in our life. She helps the Seuss because he's daring to end a pattern of madness. He's willing to do whatever he needs to be done to stop the injustice. You see, he's doing the work, in other words. That's why she helped him. She gives him the tools to create his desired outcome. He is successful because of her, and she assists him because he acts with courage. Courage is another very key word here. Her message is that our courage is always in some way rewarded. When we seek to end an unnecessary pattern or routine that is no longer serving us, even though we initially created it in the effort. Okay, sorry, let me read that again. China wanted to chime in saying, that's right, mama. So it says, when we seek to end an unnecessary pattern or routine that is no longer serving us, even though we initially created it in the effort to keep us safe, it can feel as insurmountable as facing a horned part man. As facing a minotaur, in other words, a horned part man, part beast that lives in a dark maze inside of us. That's the minotaur inside of us. It breeds pure terror. But the soul always wants our freedom. The divine is what liberates, not confines. It reminds me of a scripture that says, where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. So I'll read that again. The divine is what liberates, not confines. The divine, having a connection to Spirit, understanding your purpose and your passion, following your passion while pursuing your purpose, right, is what liberates you, not confines you. Anyway, it might feel like we can't find our way out of the situation or this maze, but we can. We can trust the soul knows the way through, and that spiritual support is a given. Ariadne wants us to be brave so that she can fall in love with our actions. She is both a goddess and a human. She gets our fear, but she also knows just how much power we hold as well. So your soul voice meditation is, what allows me to feel supported while doing the inner work? Meditate on that. What allows me to feel supported while doing the inner work? The second one is your intention, which is, my soul knows the way, and the only way out is through. That is your intention. All right, I appreciate that. Now let me get to this wonderful, wonderful email. And disclaimer, telling you right now, it is 18 plus. She writes amazingly, and I'm going to share it with the names that change to protect the innocent. But just again, this is for grown folk. Okay, here we are. Christmas 2020, pandemic style. I decorated the tree, wrapped at least 50 gifts, strategically placed them under the tree, and waited with so much anticipation for Christmas Day to see the excitement on their faces. The day has finally come, and as I watched my nephew and my children enjoy their gifts, I prepared the meal. My family trickled in one at a time, and I got to see my Nana for a few. A perfect Christmas in the midst of a crazy year. I felt like Superwoman today, and my last power move of the day was to take DM his Christmas gift and this beautiful letter that I wrote him. It's a goodbye letter, and I had this dramatic exit scene all rehearsed and ready, and on my way to him with the infamous letter, the blizzard of 96 hit. I couldn't see, and it was not safe to drive anymore, so he asked us to stay to be safe, as if we had a choice. And what tripped me out is, on the way there, he jokingly said, yeah, come on over so y'all can get snowed in with me, and I can cuddle you all night. I'd be damned if he didn't manifest this situation. Now I'm going to add to you all, if you're not following the story, this Divine Feminine wrote a Dear John, I will call it Dear John letter, because it was a breakup letter, to her DM, kind of saying, I can't do this anymore. I love you, but I just cannot deal with this treatment anymore from you, right? Because she's what? She's choosing herself and being courageous, right? So she was going on Christmas Day after having what she would call a horrible Christmas last year. This year was such a blessing and so amazing, even in the midst of a pandemic, right? So her last thing to do was to go to the DM's house and give this letter and the gift that the children, not their children together, but her children that loves him like a father figure, you know what I mean? But her 3 children with her, and she was taking him his letter and his gift that the children made, right? And that was it. I mean, I'm done, right? For no reason, because in our area, in the Washington, D.C. area, there was nobody forecasting snow. For some reason, all of a sudden, we had a snow event. It was the most unexpected and amazing thing. And I remember it because I was sitting here at my desk working, and I remember saying, oh my God, it just looked so beautiful. It looked like cotton was falling out of the sky. It was gorgeous. She was stuck in that, and it began to get kind of, treacherous. Those of you who live in this area, you know what I'm talking about. Now, back to the story. So now she's in the house because he's saying to her, it's not safe for you to drive back. Maybe you'll get snowed in. Ha, ha, ha. Joke, joke, joke. But spirits got jokes too, right? Anyway, she continues. He was a few shots in and feeling good. Old school love songs blasting, and he was dancing in the kitchen. I couldn't help but observe the disarray his beautiful home was in. Stuff was everywhere. All the expired food and things was alarming, and the amount of alcohol, empty, half empty, and full bottles I saw made my eyebrow go up. My nerves were shot, and I was trying to process what I was looking at. So for the first hour or two, I was distant and quiet, watching him dance around the kitchen, taking shot after shot and chasing it with his Corona. I decided to clean his kitchen, and he asked me to take a shot with him, so I did. And then another, and he pulled me in close by the small of my back and whispered in my ear, dance with me. So there we were, dancing in the kitchen and singing old love songs. He smelled so damn good. He still knows all the spots, where to touch me, how to handle me, and it's mesmerizing. I forgot the kids were even there. His laundry room, our favorite spot, is off the kitchen. I avoided that kiss for as long as I could until he lifted me up on that washing machine, and I couldn't avoid that kiss anymore. Next thing I know, I was bent over what I hope was a huge pile of clean clothes, and my punk-ass vagina opened up for him without even asking me. The dick is poison, and it feels so good. I didn't even realize how much I missed it. It was slow and deep, and he gripped my ass just right, and I never wanted that moment to end. Now, he was drunk, but I do think he meant everything he said to me. I don't even know if he realizes the entire time he was stroking, he was saying, please don't leave me, baby. I need you. I heard him, but I didn't want to ruin the moment, so I just took a mental note. He pulled out and said, meet me in the bedroom. I just stood there for a minute, frozen with fear, excitement, confusion, concern, love, and the fact that one of us was dripping down my leg. I cleaned myself up, went in the kitchen, took a huge gulp of that Crown Royal, and did what I was told. I get to the bedroom, and he lit a few candles and was naked and super hard waiting for me. I closed the door, and he took off all my clothes and kissed every inch of my body. He slid right in while he was kissing me slowly, and the moan that escaped me, I couldn't even avoid. He just knows my body, and it drives me crazy. There's a spot that only he seems to have the directions to, and Father God in heaven, I lose it every time. He knew when he hit it, too, because he just smiled with those perfectly white teeth and softly said, Daddy's home. Oh my God, he was right. It's like my body was saying, thank you, bitch, about time. So he stroked and licked and sucked, and I just enjoyed the ride. He wouldn't let me take control, and I was fine with that. Thank God for the headphones my kids just got for Christmas, because I was not able to hold back, and I really didn't want to. We were at it for about 45 minutes, sweat and juices everywhere. YouTube playlist was right in sync, and we both came at the same time, like the ending of a beautiful love song. I couldn't have made this story up in my imagination if I tried. So I was getting myself together to get cleaned up and dressed, but he grabbed me and asked me to lay with him, so I did. He held me in his arms and kissed my forehead and ran my fingers up and down, and I ran my fingers up and down his sweaty stomach and chest, and the next thing I knew, he was snoring and sound asleep. So I slowly slid out of his embrace and tiptoed to the bathroom. I cleaned myself up the best I could and went downstairs to check on the kids. My son had drifted off to sleep, and the girls were on their phones. I was starving, so I went to the kitchen and warmed up some food. I sat down to eat and looked up at the mantel, and there it was, a poem he had written his wife. Now, the last time I was there, I saw this poem on the table. He explained it was old and he tossed it in the trash. Well, here it is on display on the mantle. I lost my appetite and remembered that he has not yet read my letter. The card was still sitting on the couch with the gift he opened. Then I remembered why I was really there in the first place. I walked to the window and noticed it completely stopped snowing. So I packed up my kids and I left. But on my ride home, the sky was so clear you could see every constellation, and the moon was so bright I didn't need my high beams to light that dark country road. And I smiled because in spite of that discovery, I had a beautiful ending to the perfect Christmas with the man I love. I wasn't sad. I wasn't mad. I was grateful and at peace. I figured he would wake up with a hangover and see the letter wake up. Oh, I'm sorry. I figured he would wake up with the hangover, see the letter, and read it, and probably wouldn't hear from him again, and I was okay with that. I want him in my life so bad, but I want him healed. I want him whole, and I want him happy. I realize I can't love him through this. He has to fight for his life and for this love as much as I do. So, Merry Christmas, my love. I hope you heal and come get me so we can live happily ever after. Woo! Y'all, I don't know what card this is. I'll leave it face down. But isn't that... that is Ariadne. I'll help you when you become courageous, divine masculine. My love, my light, my energy, I will help you find your way through this darkness. I will help you slay the minotaur, the fears, the addictions, the insecurity, the lack of courage, the lack of vision. I will help you with my love. My soul knows the way. And the only way I can do this is to have the courage to go through the ups and the downs. I love the fact that she still called this the best Christmas ever, even though she saw that note from this DM is separated and heading towards divorce. But just the fact that Spirit allowed her to have that moment, because I do believe that snow came down so that she can have time to see, to really be there, knowing the whole time she had a letter that says goodbye forever, or at least until, I don't know, you know what I mean, but goodbye for now. And it turned into him speaking his heart in whatever way he could do at that time. But the way that everything played out, and for her not to drive back in tears and to feel used or betrayed or any of that, but to feel gratitude, saying, you know what, I love you so much and I want to be with you, but I want to be with you as a divine being. That is courage. That is power. That is love. And that is her choosing herself. And the more she loves herself, the more he's going to mirror that and begin to love himself. I knew this card was coming out. I knew this. I wish I had called it, y'all. When the card fell, I knew that this was this card. Oh my gosh. Release your ex. The time has come to clear your energy. I'm seeing this two ways. This is what he's doing. That's why he battles with what he battles with, because his mind is still having him hold on to something that no longer serves him. He needs to release his ex, right? Energetically, physically, she's nowhere to be found, but energetically, she's still in the space. And for the divine feminine, it's time for you to clear your energy. She simply let her divine masculine go, but not after a beautiful night of him showing her goddess energy, loving on her. Look at that light shining down there, y'all. It's amazing. Bottom of the deck. New love. When he comes, what did she say? I want him healed. I want him whole. I want him happy. I can't love him through this. He has to fight for his life and for this love as much as I do. So Merry Christmas, my love. I hope you heal and come get me so we can live happily ever after. When he comes back, it's going to be a new love. A new person is going to stir her romantic feelings again. Meaning him for her. Now for you, it may be literally a new person coming in after you release. Two of them wanted to come out, so I'll take them. Here's your angel. Come on, China. All is well. Archangel Jeremiel says everything is happening exactly as it's supposed to. With hidden blessings, you will soon understand. The other one that fell down is just go outdoors, girl. Archangel Jophiel says, go outside and get some fresh air and connect with nature to relieve stress and gain new creative ideas. All right? It's going to be all right. You are the mistress of the labyrinth. Your soul knows the way. And though it may get hard and there's a lot of ups and downs and a lot of miscommunication and non-communication, all kinds of things with this journey, but just know that your soul knows the way. I love the way this light is coming through right here. Your soul knows the way, and the only way out is through this. Thank you so much for watching. Till we meet again, guys, enjoy yourselves and take care of each other. Also, the description box below will give you everything you need to know about how to book a Love and Light session, which is a personal reading with me, as well as how to email me or contact me in any way, or just send me some love or through a donation or something. But do me a favor and drop by that description box below before you leave the house. This house. Whose house? This house. I appreciate you guys. Mwah.